Hello, my name is Haley Dwaileebe, and I am presenting on the agenda setting theory. Introduction. The agenda setting theory suggests that the news media tells us what to think, how to think about it, and how it links with other issues. This theory explains how the news media shapes the minds of the locals, the country, and the world to their media agenda. Agenda setting theory of Maxwell McCombs and Donald Shaw. There's a cause and effect relationship between what the news reports and how the public thinks about the world. This powerful ability of the media to shape our perception of reality is agenda setting. So here I have a picture of a cameraman, a camera, and Donald Trump, and you'll see that it says media and bias, showing that there's a lot that goes on in the lens between the cameraman and the person talking to the camera. There's a lot that gets arranged and played around with. The three agendas: personal agenda, media agenda, and agenda setting. The list of issues most salient to a single person at a given time is the personal agenda. The list of issues emphasized by the news media at a given time is the media agenda. Over time, the media agenda shapes the public agenda. Agenda setting theory. For decades, the Gallup organization has asked Americans to name the most important problem facing the country. McCombs examined responses collected across 40 years and found that this list represents the most enduring public concerns in the United States. Most people are only capable of focusing on 5 issues at a time. Research shows that the agenda setting goes about in 3 ways. The media tells us what to think about, the media tells us which attributes of issues are most important, and the media tells us which issues go together. Level 1. The media tells us what to think about. An experiment conducted by political scientists Shantu, Mark, and Donald, they spliced old news onto current newscasts and showed it for 4 days straight to 3 different groups of citizens who watched different newscasts. They all filled out a questionnaire about their own concerns at the end of each day. The questionnaires reflected the news that the people were watching in the 4 days. It was the first of many studies to offer strong evidence that the media agenda causes which stories are salient in the public agenda, the first level of agenda setting. This demonstrates that the media tells us what to think about. Level 2. The media tells us which attributes of issues are most important. The second level of agenda setting is the transfer of salience of a dominant set of attributes that the media associate with an attitude object to the specific features of the image projected on the walls of our minds, also known as framing. James Tankard, one of the leading writers on mass communication theory, defines a media frame as the central organizing idea for news content that supplies a context and suggests what the issue is through the use of selection, emphasis, exclusion, and elaboration. In April 2015, Bluebell ice cream was contaminated with dangerous listeriosis bacteria. 10 people became sick after eating the ice cream, and 3 of them died. It was public relations disaster for the company, and they immediately recalled all of their ice cream. So for a little bit of background, Bluebell is a part of Texas culture. So a student named Colton collected all of the national and local media coverage of the disaster to compare what they were saying and how they were different, maybe they're the same. The national coverage was framing the story as a health risk. The local news was interviewing locals and treating the story as a lost local icon. Bluebell's story demonstrates how the media frames issues, sometimes in shocking and nonsensical ways. Level 3. The media tells us which issues go together. During much of the 2016 elections, border control was near the top of the list of the media agenda. The third level of agenda setting considers the issues mentioned alongside coverage of immigration. So this is putting together what I'm about to talk about with immigration and border control. Jobs. Immigrants do work Americans just don't want to do. Government spending. Can America really afford to build a wall along the southern border? Law and order. If they broke the law coming here, they'll keep breaking the laws while living here. Education. Children of immigrants shouldn't be denied admission to college on the basis of their citizenship status. Welfare. Immigrants come here to mooch off America's social services. Racial relations. Some people unfairly fear immigrants because of the color of their skin. Foreign relations. How would Mexico react to changes in border policy? The third level agenda setting examines how media's issue map influences the public's issue map. So in this next picture, I have a TV labeled media spoon-feeding a person. This basically is saying that the media controls people and that they feed us what they want us to think about. Beyond opinion, the behavioral effect of the media's agenda. The amount of media coverage on the flu during 1 week predicted the number of doctor visits the next week. There was no evidence of a reverse effect. In one study, Craig Trumbo, a professional of journalism, monitored the headline stories about the flu. He had access to regular flu reports issued by the federal government. Those reports showed the number of visits to doctors for flu-like symptoms as well as the actual number of cases of the flu. Trumbo's study provides evidence that the agenda-setting effect extends to behavior. So because people were reading about the flu and people going to the doctors, when they had a flu symptom, they would immediately go to the doctors because they read about it, is what this is saying. Who sets up the agenda for agenda setters? Several sources journalists rely on to decide what counts as news. Other respected news organizations, emerging media, partisan media, which is America has a long tradition of political talk radio, candidates and office holders, press releases, interest aggregations. This term refers to clusters of people who demand center stage for their one overriding concern. Gatekeepers, which is editors function as gatekeepers who ultimately determine what gets published. Their preferences may loom large in determining the media agenda. So my scholarly article is titled Agenda Setting Through Social Media, The Importance of Incidental News Exposure and Social Filtering in the Digital Age by Jessica T. Fiesel. So there are two hypotheses. One, participants exposed to specific political issues through social media are more likely to identify those issues to be important. And hypothesis two, the agenda-setting effect is stronger among politically uninterested participants than among politically interested participants. And what she said was if social media do not have an agenda-setting effect, then there should be no difference in perceived issue salience between individuals who were exposed to information and those who were not. So the research, these hypotheses are tested using an innovative longitudinal experiment that employs the Facebook groups function and a pre-post survey design conducted over 75 days in the spring of 2014. In this design, the treatment is introduced naturally through the Facebook groups function, making it so the information appears in the participants' newsfeed alongside of the other items that they see. Researchers posted stories to the treatment and control groups on a regular basis over the course of the 75-day experiment. The control group received stories that contained no explicit political valence, and the treatment group received hard news stories taken from reputable news sources as well, such as the New York Times. This design allowed participants to engage with the shared information at their own discretion. Participants were recruited from the student population of the University of New Mexico. Findings show that participants exposed to political information on Facebook exhibit increased levels of issue salience consistent with the issues shared compared with participants who were not shown political information. These effects are strongest among those with low political interest. In conclusion, the agenda-setting theory has been shown on multiple occasions to impact what we find important, how we think about different topics in the media, and to link different issues together. From what we read to what we watch, the media gives us a map on how to perceive different things. The range of topics are endless, such as science and politics. Sometimes it helps give us a way to go about thinking about things, and other times it gives us a false sense of reality. Either way, the agenda-setting theory is very effective. Thank you.